For many people, fat is a superfood. Not only does it help you feel full and lose weight, your body uses it as the building blocks for cellular membranes, and fat makes up the myelin sheath that forms around your nerves and allows electrical impulses to transmit quickly and efficiently. Fat makes up more than half our brain tissue. Human breast milk is more than half fat, much of which is saturated fat. We need healthy fats to be healthy humans. Unfortunately, what we've been told about which fats are good for us and which fats are bad is dead wrong.
Everybody just thinks, oh, don't eat fat, don't eat fat. And it's actually more tragic than that. The story is actually much worse. As people turned away from saturated fats like butter and animal fats, we were told to eat margarine.
Yes, I am the muffin man, now I am the butter man.
Imperial, only our taste deserves the crown.
It turns out, and this is what's so tragic about it, it was deadly advice.
Many doctors have recommended corn oil margarines to help lower the saturated fat in a reduced fat diet.
So if you remember, margarine is vegetable oils, and then they partially hydrogenate them to make them solid so they look like butter. Partially hydrogenated fats are actually trans fats.
It's best to replace spreads high in saturated fat.
So we went from eating natural foods and butter to trans fats, which we now know was super, super, super deadly for heart attacks.
For the family you love, serve delicious new Mazola margarine. They'll love its light, delicate flavor every day.
That is like mind-blowing, that we told people to stop eating butter and eat this poison instead, and it would be good for you, and we all did it.
This is Mazola 100% corn oil margarine, made from 100% corn oil goodness.
Well, there's really no doubt that the American Heart Association endorsement of vegetable oils was a great thing for that industry.
This is Ralph Edwards of Truth or Consequences. Congratulations on your fine entry statement on why we should all support the American Heart Association.
The American Heart Association started in the 1920s as a sleepy little organization that could barely keep its doors open. But in 1948, Procter & Gamble, the maker of Crisco, or shortening, staged a nationwide fundraiser, and the AHA hit the jackpot.
Thanks, Jack Benny. The American Heart Association has $1.5 million there. All right, Ralph Edwards saying good night, everybody!
Overnight, millions of dollars flowed into their coffers. I mean, literally from one week to the next, they started opening up chapters all over the country, all thanks to Procter & Gamble.
New Crisco oil stays blended longer, makes salads taste great. New Crisco oil blends better than other oils.
The American Heart Association has endorsed vegetable oils ever since.
It's not nice to fool Mother Nature.
They then were able to publish advertisements saying, lowers cholesterol, take this ad to your doctor and get them to prescribe to you vegetable oils for your health.
Vegetable oils are a fascinating topic because they've become labeled as heart healthy, which drives me a little crazy because the label was granted to them simply by lowering LDL cholesterol. But the broader question is, what else are they doing? These are not real food products. These are products made in factories. These are products that require heat and chemicals and high pressure to extract what little oil there is.
The heat and chemicals used in the manufacturing process oxidizes these delicate seed oils. When you eat oxidized vegetable oils like soy, canola, corn, and safflower or sunflower, they create free radicals throughout your body that are highly inflammatory and known to cause heart disease and cancer. Why are we always trying to eat more antioxidants? To combat free radicals like the ones found in refined vegetable oils.
And then they're used by restaurants in the most carcinogenic way possible. They heat them, reheat them, cool them off, heat them again, and use them for a week. So switching to vegetable oils or seed oils was probably a terrible idea in the first place.
One researcher from the University of Minnesota went to a variety of fast food restaurants in her neighborhood and purchased French fries, and then took them back to her lab for testing. She found numerous compounds of toxic aldehydes in the fries. Aldehydes are known to cause gene mutation, alter RNA and DNA, and trigger massive inflammation in the body.
Vegetable oil is highly toxic, and anyone who advises people to eat vegetable oils is also giving misinformation.
I tell my clients to avoid the industrial seed oils as much as possible.
Vegetable oils belong in the engines of cars, not in your food. Refined vegetable oils are one more reason you should avoid fast food and processed food. If it comes in a bottle or a box, it probably contains vegetable oils, from crackers to cookies, mayonnaise to salad dressings, baby food, and even baby formula.
They're not natural, they've been shown to be pro-inflammatory, and in some studies like the Minnesota Coronary Experiment, the Sydney Diet Heart Study, they've shown that yes, they lower LDL, but they actually do nothing or they worsen all-cause mortality.
Minneapolis, you're so many things to me.
The Minnesota Coronary Survey, which took place in the 1960s, was the biggest ever test of Ansel Keys' hypothesis.
The Minnesota Coronary Experiment is a fascinating study, both from a science standpoint and sort of a detective standpoint.
So it took place in 5 Minnesota mental hospitals, which is a kind of experiment you can't do anymore because it's considered unethical. But back then, it has the benefit of being highly controlled, which means that you're feeding people all their food, so you know what they're eating. And they can't get outside food, so they can't cheat.
In the diet, they replaced saturated fat with polyunsaturated fat in the intervention. And then the diet was similar in all the other nutrients that they deemed to be important. And what they found was that with the intervention, cholesterol levels went down, which is what you would expect, but mortality actually trended up.
Turned out the people who were on the cholesterol-lowering diet had more heart disease and more deaths than the people eating the control diet, which is the exact opposite of what they wanted.
So it did not support the diet heart hypothesis.
But they never published the results.
If you do a very long study, going into that study thinking that you know what the end in mind is going to be, and then it isn't the end in mind, I can understand that you don't want to publish the results, but it is scientific fraud.
Yeah, that is totally unacceptable to not publish your data like that.
It wasn't published until decades later that a relative of the author went digging for the results. And this is the detective part that's kind of crazy, that he had to go looking through the basements to find these data and re-crunch the data and reanalyze it and then bring it out to publish it to say, hey, look, this diet higher in omega-6 oils lowered LDL, but it increased cardiovascular risk and it increased mortality.
When you are making recommendations that are not evidence-based and evidence comes out that's contrary to those recommendations, wait a minute, that's a problem, right? And so what has been the standard approach to dealing with that situation, which has come up a number of times? Bury the new evidence. And that's exactly what's happened. And the Minnesota Coronary Study is a perfect example of this.
The Heart Foundations didn't come and say, sorry, we're wrong. They just ignored it as if it didn't happen, and they continue to promote vegetable oils and polyunsaturated fats.
If that had been published, almost certainly what we eat today would be different.
And this is a reason for everyone to be outraged beyond concern.
Controlled clinical trials like the Minnesota Coronary Survey are considered the gold standard of research, the type of experiment where you can control every bite of food and change just one thing, like swapping butter for margarine, to find out if it has an effect on our health. But trials like these are expensive, and some even considered unethical. Cheaper observational trials are far more common.
How many times do you have oatmeal in the last year?
I have no clue. Oh my gosh.
Observational trials often rely on food frequency questionnaires that rely on people's memories, and people's memories aren't that great.
How many times have you had orange juice in the last year?
I wouldn't know a number. Last year?
I'm gonna say,
if I was to put a number on it, upwards of 20.
In the last year, 20 times?
Oh yeah, yes.
Okay. So you think you've had it only about 2 times a month?
Oh darn, yeah, you're right. I have no idea how many ounces.
well, if I had to break it up and out, you know.
Probably about the same as you. Whatever you, yeah.
I don't know how many ounces.
See what I mean? Observational trials generate unreliable data and are the reason why nutrition recommendations constantly flip and flop. Setting nutritional food policy based on unreliable data is largely what got us into this big, fat mess.
How hard do you think it is to remember what you ate?
Impossible. Unless you have some ridiculous ability to remember everything, which nobody does. Nobody remembers things accurately.